So, depression. I've talked about it quite a few times. Everybody has a general idea of what depression is. The glare drives me nuts. Sorry. Okay. Now I can't read. So, depression. Sometimes people with depression, um, when you've had it for long periods of time or it's gone untreated. Um, my case in particular, um, I've had depression my whole life, as far back as I can remember. It is a genetic thing. It does run in families. So, some people have that going for them. There's a lot of that in my family. I've been depressed, for a very long time. Very, very long time. Probably since junior high, I've had problems with it. And sometimes, whenever your depression goes a long time being untreated, you start to develop what's called co-occurring disorders. Um, and that is pretty much like a side illness to your mental illness. So, like, you've got depression, which is your cloud, but sometimes out of that depression, you can develop other illnesses. Um, for example, I have had depression and anxiety majority of my life. Majority of my life, it has either gone untreated or not treated in the proper way. And because of that, I have created co-occurring disorders. Because of my depression, I have developed OCD and I have developed an eating disorder. Which, again, the eating disorder goes back as far back as I can remember. It goes clear back to junior high, and I'm pushing 30. I'm a grown woman, and I've always had struggles just with my mental being. So sometimes you can create co-occurring disorders. Some of those can include OCD, eating disorder, like I said, anxiety, PTSD. They can create phobic disorders, um, and of course, substance abuse disorders. That is one thing that does come along with it a lot is substance abuse or alcohol abuse. Um, all of these things sponge off of your depression. And sorry, my dog was being cute. All of these things sponge off of your depression. And, in some cases, if you can just get help with your depression, then some of these other co-occurring disorders just kind of dissolve themselves because you're taking care of your depression, which is the main thing. Sometimes, in other cases, they've gone so long that it's just developed into its own disorder. You know, um, that's what I thought at first with my eating. I thought that if I could get my depression under control, that my eating would be better. And so I started taking depression medicine. But a ways into this journey on my depression medicine, I've noticed that my eating problem is a much bigger problem than what I thought that it was. I've always been in kind of a denial about it just because of all the stereotypical crap that comes along with it. And I get very defensive about it. But that's another video. But these can sponge off of your depression. And it's something that needs to be taken care of. Whether you believe in a more natural approach, as maybe some yoga or some meditation, or creating a safe space for yourself to just kind of and relax. If you need a more medical approach, taking medicine, seeing a counselor or a therapist, there is no right or wrong as long as you are healthy. That is the idea. It doesn't really matter how you go about it. Like at first, I'm a very natural person. I'm a hippie. I don't like, I don't like unnatural things. I'm very much into yoga and meditation and all the things like that. And it works, but it just wasn't doing it for me. So I felt the need to go get medicine. And it's not normally something that I'm all for because I'm big pharma and I'm not into that. But it helped. And it's helped a bunch. And that is my point, is if you're trying something and it doesn't work, give something else a shot and see. You have to be mentally healthy as a person and as a mother. Mommies, we're so wired to think that we have to take care of our children and our husbands or spouse, whatever, that we don't think about ourselves. And the term selfish comes to play here. And as I've said to a couple people, being selfish is not a bad thing. People claim for it to be a bad thing, but it is not. You have to be selfish at some point or another. You have to do you some good, even if it's shutting the door and telling the kids to for 10 minutes, putting a mask on and watching Judge Judy. You just need to take the time for yourself. We always want the best for our kids, but we don't take care of ourselves. And you don't stop and think, if I don't take care of myself, then how am I supposed to be there to take care of my kids? You need to be thinking in that process as opposed to my kids are always first, which they should be. But if you can't take care of you, how are you going to take care of your kids? You see what I'm saying? Your life shouldn't totally be absorbed about you because you are a mother, but you do still have to take care of yourself physically and mentally and emotionally. You do have to take care of yourself. Like I've said before, depression is a very real thing, and it's so much more than what people make it out to be. It's a serious illness and it takes lives. It takes lives. And I don't even want to get into the whole suicide thing because it's a rant for another time. But it does take your life in more than just suicide. More than one way. It hurts your mind mentally. It affects your health. It affects your organs. It affects everything. It is more than just suicide. It is more than just feeling sad. It is a mental illness. It is a mental plague. And we have to love each other and support each other and help each other through these times. Not just sit around and, oh, well, she's depressed, so I don't want to deal with it. That is exactly the opposite of what you should be doing, actually. Talk to me about some of your depression issues. Let me know if you have a co-occurring disorder that's come along with your depression. Maybe we can figure this out together. I'm also going to post the National Suicide Prevention Hotline and the National Substance Abuse and Mental Health hotline as well. We need to take care of ourselves, mamas.